Armada Book 2 Chapter 2 The Outposts Part 1. August 2059. Coming from the luncheon provided by the Buffon King, they all beamed to Andrew's Bridge to discuss the implications of the meeting. Binetton proceeded to meet the council while Tonin stayed. Olive beamed some ice cream and refreshments. Ellie told Andrew what transpired in the meeting while he was on or off sleeping. So we can pretty much leave because they both will be doing reconstruction work. Andrew said. I guess we are not needed anymore. Roger seconded. Do we need anything before we leave? Andrew asked. I would be taking in a few Norset eggheads so they can have the ship scientists up to speed while we travel. Gotenin have assigned 5,200 of his top scientists to us and they were all happy to be working here. It seems there is a long line of scientists eager to come on board. Ellie said. Ellie, why don't you assign a scientist for each of our ships directly under the ship commander? Andrew asked. Bad idea, sir. We already have our holograms. These people may tell you the wrong things at the most critical times. Gantley gets 1,000 of them while we get 4,200. May I suggest a personnel exchange? Tonin said. I think that's a great idea. We can leave some of our commanders, some from the foreign contingents and half of our marine contingent to train their armada. Roger said. That's okay, how many people can you give us, Tonin? Andrew asked. How many can you take? How about 200,000? This number includes technicians, hackers, taggers, researchers, equipment operators and even gun operators. They may not be physically equipped as the Marines but they are very brave and smart. Does that number include my ships? Gantley asked. Yes. I guess that's fine if Gantley is included. Andrew said. Can you guys also provide us with additional formulators? Gantley asked. Good idea, Gantley. Ellie agreed. I believe we can beam over 120 medium-sized ones. These are all refurbished formulators that the scientists worked on recently. These medium-sized ones can fit in your ship's warehouses. They could come in handy when you need something right away. So you think it's okay for us to leave you and let you do all the exciting stuff? Roger asked. I believe the reconstruction and rebuilding includes building newer ships which I believe would run up to at least 800 in 6 months. That's a lot. Andrew commented. We have a very large manufacturing base. All we have to do is recall all our personnel to render more work for the state. Billions are willing to work, so this may even double if the council allows it. The war stalled a large portion of our capabilities, but now they can start working again. It would not hurt me if you give some of those to us. Andrew started. If you ask for 200 they will say, all you have to do is ask. If you double that number, they will whine a little but they will still do it for you. If you ask for more they will say okay but next year you can't get any. Tonin said. I can't imagine the Norsets are that generous. Ellie said. They do it because they owe you. They admire all of you and because they are very angry. Remember, you have not asked for anything. Just ask and we will deliver. This time, I will not ask. How about you, Gantley? Andrew asked. I will follow your lead, Andrew. Gantley said. What's up with the two of you? Roger exclaimed. Well, Roger, let them do their mission against the Morts first. They need their ships for this purpose. I will just ask Tonin to send some of the used ships to us when he's done with the Morts. No, Andrew, the Norsets will not feel right to give you used ships. Tonin said. Look, Tonin, when you go to destroy the Mort ships, most of the new ships will not even fire a shot. They were basically broken in for us. If you put it that way. I will tell the council. Tell them in a way that looks like we are not asking but you are suggesting it because we have not really asked for anything. Gantley said. Gantley, you think like Roden already. Thank you, Andrew. But don't give me all the credit. This was your intention in the first place, I was just the one who made it obvious. Me? Andrew asked and Tonin laughed. I am smart enough to understand. I did not get this post for being stupid, you know. Tonin said. How about if you save some if not all of the Mort ships for us to use in our hop system that we intend to set up further from our sphere? Roger said. Isn't it funny how we discuss the fate of the Morts over ice cream? It makes me happy and proud. Tonin said. You have to exert effort to control your anger to be a better commander. Ellie said. I am not worried with Tonin, he already was able to control himself and proven he is a great leader and strategist. Thank you, Andrew. Remember, when you think of ice cream, think that you have to save some or all, and preferably all Mort ships for us, preferably all of them including the transport ships. Roger said. Tonin laughed. Speaking of hops, are all the hop ships deployed between our galaxy and the Norset and the Bofengs? Andrew asked, then looked at Olive. Here's the deployment as it stands. Olive said. They can see that the hop lines were tripled from planet LA to the Norset galaxies and 4 lines from the Norsets to the Bofengs. Olive, how is Tony doing with the hops? Andrew asked. All the Mort ships that left from the Norset galaxy have reached Tony. He has installed half of them and are expanding the lines outward. Olive showed Andrew a hologram and he could see that the hop lines to the Inki and Mac galaxies have tripled. From these tripled main lines shown in red lights he has expanded outwards. These yellow lights show the target locations of the expansion. If you look at these yellow lights, these are further away from the Mac galaxies. These yellow lights here are further away from the Inki galaxies. So in a way the sphere will grow beyond the 3 galaxies. Olive continued. What do you intend to do with the 211 hops ships, sir? Ellie asked. I had Tonin install plasma cannons on each so we can deploy half of them around Earth within 5 to 20 mly away, and the other half will create 2 hop lines outwards away from the sphere from planet LA. The 100 could be another 4 bly in double lines. Andrew answered. They have their own engines which are as fast as ours, new cloaking devices, more than enough power, and they would have a crew of 10. Tonin added. It's going to be a lonely job in those ships. Can't we just do the task remotely? It's not really lonely because they can actually take their lunch and dinner with their families on Earth or anywhere within TP range. It's more like a desk job. We also have people remotely monitoring what they see. For guard duty, it's best that the guards are sitting where they should be sitting. Gadden said. What we can do is employ some Bofengs as part of the hop crews. Tonin said. Why is that? Gantley asked. One of their most endearing quality is patience. They will not get bored looking for threats in space. And they can connect to the equipment using one of their fingers, so even while they sleep they are in a sense awake and watching with the equipment. The idea is to switch the remotes with the people deployed in space often. These are also remote small fortresses that can shoot the enemy. Not only guards outposts. Roger said. That's where the Norsets are good at. Targeting and firing. Tonin said. Gantley nodded. I think I get the picture. We will have to convert all our hop ships within the sphere to armed surveillance outposts and have the crew include Bofengs and Norsets. This would be in lieu of more permanent TP hops on the adjacent planets. I think this will greatly improve the use of our hop ships. Andrew said. I will allocate at least 20,000 Norsets for this. I will ask the king to send as many Bofengs for the outposts. Tonin said. This will free up Alan's Armada to do some monitoring and exploration work within their areas of responsibilities. And with the range of the Norset communications equipment, the sphere is pretty much monitored. Andrew added. The Norsets liked the idea when I told them what you wanted, so they are now installing plasma guns on all the hop ships manned by a crew. Tonin said. That's why we need to set up the double line of hops at the Earth's back side. Roger said. This is a good idea then. Ellie said, looking at Andrew. Thank you, Ellie. Andrew said. I thought Roger thought about this. Sir, good idea. Ellie repeated. Olive, please show us the target areas to deploy the 100 outposts. Andrew said. Based on the distance to planets that are relatively human-friendly, the lights show where they would be most effective. Earth is this planet and planet LA is this in this solar system. Olive explained. Ellie commented, I'd say it looks good and evenly spread out considering the planet locations. Can you rotate it this way so I can see it from Earth's inner side? Olive did as instructed and they agreed the view makes for a better look at the deployment. I agree with the deployment as shown. Tonin said. How about the 111 remaining hop ships? Can you show us where we can best deploy them? Remember I told you the direction was towards this area here. Andrew said. Yes, Andrew, I plotted the possible route based on your instructions yesterday and based on their proximity to human-friendly exoplanets. This shows a route that extends 3.5 BLY away. The yellow-lighted ones are the hop ships while the red ones are the human-friendly exoplanets. That represents an area where defense is weaker than the inside of the sphere. Tonin said. General Alan Cook should realize this and can deploy his armada accordingly. Gantley commented. Good call Tonin, Gantley. Olive communicate this to Alan. Andrew said. So Olive, one hop line is between 50 to 60 MLY apart from the other line? Ellie asked. That is correct. How many human-friendly exoplanets will we encounter, Olive? Gadden asked. 163,312 within 90 MLY from the two hop lines. I never thought there were so many planets. And all of these are habitable by humans? Andrew asked. Olive explained, and also by Max, Intkis, Norsets and Bofangs. I do not have information of life forms in those planets but we will know them soon enough. We can send probes down. The Norsets are really nice and very polite. When they examined our probes they were absolutely unimpressed and even laughed at it. But they never showed this and instead politely explained that they are working on a new probe. They offered a completely different one. Ellie started. And how did you know this, Ellie? Andrew asked. Vicky told me because Gotanen told her. You know Gotanen is all out in supporting Vicky. He even offered to send one-to-one instructors for Vicky's scientists as soon as the Intkis are done teaching them. The only issue was that the human scientists were just too slow to learn. It will take them more than 200 years to learn the basics of what the Intkis are teaching. Stupid scientists. And the way they talk to and treat Vicky, they should be shamed. Sir, did you say ashamed or shamed? Roger asked. Andrew related Vicky's recruiting experience especially when she had a speaking engagement when he came to visit. Wow, that sucks. Ellie said. Roger added, and now she is their boss. That sucks even more. She's probably running their asses through the ground. I'd say get the Norsets in and teach them until they give up or become crazy. Andrew said. That would be funny. Roger said. So what happened to the probes? Gadden asked. We will get our allocation of 320 this week and more in the coming months. They could give us more but they are allocating these to the Intkis, Max and their Armada as well. One thing about the Norsets, they are a huge species with extremely large capacity to produce anything they set their mind to. It's just that they got lazy. Now they are starting to make a comeback with an angry vengeance. Ellie said. I told you we are angry. Tonin said. What kind of probes are these, Ellie? Roger asked. These are amazing probes. They have an almost unlimited power source that will last hundreds of years. They can travel through space by their own or via remote, they have anything a spy needs. It even hacks into data systems automatically as part of its routine. And they can talk to our ships directly, pretty much like extensions of our ships. These probes even have 2 baby probes that they can release within an area. I tried to confirm Ellie's words and communicated to the Norset central data systems, and yes, these probes are indeed as Ellie said. I like to have them as extensions of me. Don't get too greedy, Olive. Andrew said. I can never be greedy, Andrew. Oh yes, that was a joke, my apologies. And you just threw a joke back at me. Yes, Olive, you are becoming like your boss. Ellie said. I will take that as a compliment. Thank you, Ellie. I am beginning to understand the use of a human form hologram. Tonin said. They are very useful and smart. It's fun because sometimes it's like you are talking to yourself. Gantley said. Let's go back to our project. How much time do we need to complete the outposts and the hop projects? Andrew asked. The outposts are independent of the hop project. The outposts will take 2 months because of staffing issues. The hop ships will take less than a month because we will be using our own people. Olive explained. I can create the staffing for the hop ships with Tonin and we can deploy them, I'd say, within 5 days. Gadden said. That is within the timetable. It will take the last 2 hop ships 20 days to reach the farthest target area. The others will reach their areas earlier because they are nearer. Olive said. I would suggest we wait for our probes so we can send at least 4 of these to each hop ship starting from the farthest ships. Ellie said. Right, we wait for the probes to come in from the Norsets. In the meantime, I will deploy our people to make sure all the hop ships have good living quarters and that the surveillance and other needed equipment are properly installed and working. Gadden said. Good call, Gadden. Andrew said. Anybody for some cake? Ellie asked. Hey, I was going to say that. Anybody for some cake? Andrew asked. I thought we just ate with the king. Tonin said. They all walked out and went to the officers' mess hall. After a few weeks, Andrew could hear knocking on his bedroom door. Sir, we have arrived at Planet Los Angeles. It was Ellie. She came to wake him up. He looked at the time and it's lunchtime at the planet. He jumped and got into decent civilian clothes. When he came out of his quarters he saw Ellie was wearing a colorful summer dress. Where are the guys? Andrew asked. Sir, Roger, Gadden and Gantley went down to planet Earth. Andrew, Vicky is waiting at your house for lunch. She is also expecting Mom and Dad to come over. Let's go. Olive beamed themselves down to the back side of the house with a view of the waterfalls. Vicky came over and embraced Andrew. She planted a light kiss on his cheeks. Andrew felt her tummy bump into him. The gang will be here in a few minutes. Help me get the food outside. Vicky said. When they got inside the house Tim and Elaine were going through the door. Ellie ran to embrace her parents. She helped them with the food and bottles of beer. Just bring them outside on the table. Vicky said. Vicky and Andrew followed them bringing a tray of baked chicken and a bowl of pasta. Danny and Julia appeared with Ari and her 2 best friends from around the house. Vicky and Elaine walked over to greet them. Ellie was fixing the table when she saw Maria come out of the rear French doors of the house with another woman. Maria, is that you, Edna? Ellie exclaimed. Edna ran over to Ellie carrying some wines. Ellie embraced her and as she put the wines on the table Ellie embraced her again from the back. I am so glad to see you again, Elle, and you still embrace me from behind. How did you get her here, Maria? Maria started to talk. Hi Tita, Edna addressed Elaine. Only one girl calls me Tita. Edna, is that you? You look so thin. I mean prim. I thought you wouldn't remember me. How can I not remember you? The smartest and most terrifying student in high school. Ellie and Maria laughed. Mom, you still remember that incident? What incident? Vicky asked. Vicky, this is my best friend Edna back in high school. Actually since we were grade 3. Maria continued Ellie's story. There was this guy, his name was Nesty, and he was pestering Ellie almost every day during lunch break. Edna here, she was bigger then but not any taller, stood up and without saying anything socked Nesty right on the nose. The force was so strong the guy fell over his chair and Edna moved and kicked him in the groin when he was down. His friends were shocked. In fact, the whole cafeteria became quiet. Then Edna picked up a chair, and had I not held her she would have killed the guy. Ellie added, we call him Nest the Pest. Edna was suspended for a week and lost the spot to become the valedictorian of the school to me. She became salutatorian. But she became a legend. Yes, the legend of Right Hook Edna. You never mess around with Edna the Geek. Elaine said. That is so funny. Vicky said. Ellie continued, very few in high school know the real Edna. We were not surprised that she did the thing she did, but the whole school was. We knew that she just got her black belt in karate and he got lucky. Elaine gestured to Ellie, introduce Edna to all the people here. Ellie did just that. Those three were inseparable since they were in elementary school until 12th grade. The sisters Ellie never had. Elaine told Vicky. Edna and Maria got back, there were actually 4 of us. I was just too busy, but with Edna, I think we can find Beth. Yes, the water girl, Elizabeth. Elaine said. I heard you were able to barter for a large Inky Vinta. What you need to do is have the Norsets upgrade the ship and use your ship intel so you can find your friend much faster. Vicky said. Yes, I did that at the reception. Maria said. So Edna is working for you now? Elaine asked. She's my partner. I gave her 1/5 of the enterprise. But I believe she will do some extraordinary things in the next few months. She is really very good at whatever she puts her mind into. Maria said. Andrew told me you were planning to put up schools in the planets. Vicky said. Yes. In fact, I am talking to Danny and his group to build a K-12 school and also an adult trade and retraining school for the old-timers here in Planet Los Angeles. Later, a university to complement Elaine's Starship College. Ellie came back, and she told me that she will name the university after me while the grade school after her and Roden. How did Roden get into the picture? Elaine asked. Roden told me to use my money for the common good. Don't you find it strange that somebody can tell Maria how to spend her money, huh, Ellie? Edna asked. That is strange and out of character. In fact, that was one of the main reasons she had a divorce in the first place. Will, money is pouring in and I really don't know where to put it, so I asked Roden. See what I mean? Edna asked. I entirely see your point, Edna. Let me sit here. Vicky said. She sat on a chair at the far end of the table. She held her stomach and heaved a sigh of relief. What point? Maria asked. Don't you see where these events are leading? Ellie asked. Honestly, I don't know, but I like his presence and he likes to see me often. Maria said. See, Edna, I think you should meet Roden. You know, try to feel the guy. Ellie said. That was what I told her. Edna exclaimed. Andrew approached them. Are you talking about intergalactic boy meets girl? I think that too many cooks spoil the broth. Maria said. They all laughed at Maria. Tim held out his wine cup. Maria, this wine is amazing. He gave some to Elaine. The price is good as well. We got it from a winery in France for $800 a bottle. We bought a truck full of those. Edna said. Did you buy some expensive beer? Andrew asked. No, but I have a brandy to die for. Maria said. She took a few steps over to the table and got a dirty bottle. This came from the personal collection of the winery owner. This one is 80 years old. Andrew opened the bottle and poured himself a large one. This is really good brandy. Really good. How much am I drinking? I forgot the price, but it's really expensive. Edna poured the brandy into a small brandy glass. Danny did so as well. This is so good. Danny said. Our issue is that the prices of brandy and ice cream have gone up back on Earth. People could not figure out where all the stocks are going. This barter is really a strain. Maria explained. If I were you, start bringing in some cows here, grow their numbers and breed them for milk. Put up your own factories so ice cream can be produced in larger volume. Vicky said. Ellie told me that the Bofangs would make good cow raisers and ice cream producers. Maria said. Ellie added, yes, and they would probably develop the taste for beef. The Bofangs will solve your ice cream problems, maybe not immediately, but it surely will increase supply definitely in the near future. Why stop there? Get some wine growers to teach the Bofangs to produce wines. I saw 2 of their planets and they look lush and fertile. Julia said. So it's settled then. We will develop the project and the Bofangs will supply us for the demand for ice cream and brandy and wines by the other species. Edna said. I can call my friend Gotanen to study if the project will be good for the Bofangs. You have to move carefully in introducing an alien flora and fauna into a new alien environment. I would suggest you talk to this guy. I will tell him you will be coming over. Vicky said.